Hello, Steve White, Trekboy89 for Steve Arts89. Well, Star Trek Defiant, which is the latest comic from IDW, they're getting towards the end of their current storyline, issue 20, and they released a 5-page preview, and it's just depressing. It's basically O'Brien talking about his war crimes during the Cardassian War and committing murder, basically. And I never really liked O'Brien, but this doesn't really help. And it's really just what all these comics are about. They're all about war and death and genocide and religion and all the things that aren't Star Trek, all the things that Gene got us away from, all the things that we had escaped by Star Trek's, 24th century. That was the whole point of Star Trek. And it's really frustrating to see this happen over and over again. It's like the creators of IDW, the creators at Bad Robot and Secret Hideout, they either don't get Star Trek, or they really think that the only way to really, push Star Trek past the sort of levels of, success that it had is to appeal to the general audience by basically contemporizing everything about Star Trek and basically just telling current day war stories and current day issues in, the Star Trek universe, and basically regressing the show and the universe and bringing it back to what we are today and all the issues we have today with war and religion and discrimination and all the issues that we've seen. And how Star Trek is supposed to deal with those is analogy, where we see the Federation go out and meet a race that does the things that we do today. And then, we see an example of why we don't do that anymore, or help these people get past that. That was what Star Trek was. It was optimistic, it was progressive, it made things better. And the reason why Star Trek was such a phenomenon for so many generations was because in a world that often was dark, it was literally a beacon of hope, a light that people could look towards and go, I believe this is going to get better. My world today, what I see outside my window, what I have happening in my life is horrible, but I believe we're better than this, that humanity is better, we're going to get better, and there's hope. And I look forward to the future. And that was why Star Trek fans were so passionate and enthusiastic about Star Trek, and why they wanted to live in that universe and maintain that universe, and why they kept it alive when the studios and so forth didn't care about it, and just they didn't see it as a big money maker, and they're happy to see it end. Fans kept it alive because they needed that in their life, and we still do. But we're not getting it from Star Trek anymore. That's the sad thing. These people seem to think, well, the only way we're going to, because that group of Star Trek fans, they may have been passionate and bought a lot of merchandise, but they weren't a huge number. So when you had things like films come out, it would show in the box office that there wasn't that many people really. There was a lot of people, but not like Marvel people, So their approach in the last 5-10 years has been, let's try and get that audience by changing the show into something it's not, to appeal to the general audience so we get more people. And even if it does appeal to more people, and I don't think it does at the moment, there's enough people it appeals to that these shows are keeping on the air and these comics, keep selling. But I don't believe they have as many fans as Star Trek had back in the day, and the fans that they do have are not as enthusiastic, because what is there to be enthusiastic about things being horrible and things just being like today? There's that special thing that Star Trek had has been just sucked out of it, and it's just really painful to watch. And so I looked at this preview, I'm just like, this is not Star Trek, this is not what we want to see. I mean, I know there's some pro-war, pro-military people who think the only way to solve anything is to bomb everyone out of existence. They think this is great, and apparently they're trying to get those people to buy the comics, and they think that people who are living that sort of horror are going to be like buying Star Trek comics to relive the trauma. Jesus, it's so, how do these people get in charge of this? What happened? Once upon a time we had people who got Star Trek making Star Trek for fans, and sometimes we get some general audience people being brought in, and that was sort of just the hope that make it for the fans, and then maybe get some some extra people coming in. Now it's like, no, let's ignore the fans because they expect too much and they know better than us. Let's just make it for the general audience, go for dark, go for horror, go for gritty, go for miserable, and because that works for everything else. That's what basically the internet and our current society is doing. It's focusing on the negative, focusing on pain and hate, and the algorithms and everything are just pushing and feeding people all this, and they think the real world, that's what it is. They don't even see their everyday lives. They just see and get angry about all this other stuff, and they just create that in their own life. It's just a mess, and Star Trek isn't an answer to it or a release, an escape from it. Star Trek is just part of the problem now, and it's really depressing when you really look at it on that level. And this comic is a great example of that. I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think of where Star Trek is going with all these dark, dystopian, war, religion, hate storylines and themes and characters and everything. And I have to believe that at some point this will change and someone will bring Star Trek back. I have to believe that.